parents are very strict. Where are you going with those skates? Wear your helmet. Are you doing that too? Are you jumping on those banisters?
Hi, Liam.
Hey, Joss. How you doing?
Good. Here we are. Today, we're going to talk to Kevin Batten from Napier. As far as his rollerblading life goes, as far as I know, but he's not there anymore. So that's going to be exciting. Different, a bit of a different one to Ben, but lots to talk about.
Yep.
Cool to see some comments in the feed from Ben. I think
There's heaps of people commented, heaps of people have liked and shared. It's been quite good.
Yeah. So if you see things that you like, or you want to, even if you just want to start a discussion about anything that you saw on there,
Yep.
Good. Because I was actually thinking on the drive home today, like there used to be a forum. We used to have a forum in New Zealand, didn't we?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure we used to have a New Zealand rolling forum because, and I remember being on it for maybe a year or posted on there a little bit, but then I think it might have fizzled out. But I remember like Heather was on there, you were on there. There's a bunch of people on there. So if that's not around anymore, maybe the video, the comment section of the video that we're doing on here is a good place to yell stuff at us online or each other. But yeah, that's cool.
And definitely when we announce on Instagram or YouTube who our next guest is, feel free to chime in with any questions you've got for them as well.
Yeah, even suggestions about who's next, because me and Liam are trying to I guess we're trying to organize it in a way that's interesting, or actually the truth is probably trying to make it easy on ourselves as well. About who we talk to next and who's going to be a good person to talk to, but we're open to suggestions is what we're saying, I think.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna try and dial the man up.
Yep. I'm just going to give that a crack now.
Okay, sweet. We're going.
Cool.
Okay. First things first. Is Pat McGuire your dad?
No, he's not my dad.
Okay. We just had to get that out of the way because it was still it was a grey area, to be honest, after all these years.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think he's only a few years older than me.
Okay. Is that all you want to say about it, or is there anything else you want to add?
Not about Pat being my dad, but yeah, Pat was he was definitely a father-like figure for the early era of rollerblading.
Yeah, but there was no paternal link there, so that's good.
No, he didn't touch my mother.
Yeah. Okay, that can't be said for maybe the rest of the Napier contingent, but
yeah.
Good
Okay.
Start. Yeah, good start. Anyway, thanks for being number 2. That's cool because some people didn't want to be number 2.
I think
That's cool because some people didn't want to be number 2.
I think his internet connection's trying to prevent him from being number 2.
I just wanted to be close to my beer fridge.
Fair enough. I'll take 2 after a few technical Zoom issues in Napier.
You are. Yeah, sweet.
Yep. Kevin, I want to show you just a video and just have a chat through kind of the makings of it and just any kind of stories you had about this.
Yeah, cool.
Just going to share my screen. You'll know this video fairly well, I would assume.
Oh, yeah.
But this is actually the most watched rollerblading video I could find on YouTube at 7,900 views, which is more than anything else, which is kind of cool. But do you want to talk us through the video and how it all came about and how you even managed to score those skates?
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit of a Trade Me addict, so I'll be looking at Trade Me on rollerblades and stuff all the time and seeing what comes up. And I caught these ones off Trade Me for $50, and they were like
$50. What?
yeah, $50. And another rollerblader I haven't even met in person, but I've just met him online, old Flannel.
Yeah.
He just said, "Oh, if you win them, bro, I'll pick them up and send them to you." So I was like, "Cool, awesome." So I won the auction, and then he sent them down. And this is about 4 months into like my return of like consistent rollerblading again.
Yeah.
And I was linked up with Mike Farr through Tim Van Wee because he was building Bay Skate. So he kind of got us out there to get like connected and roll again.
Yeah.
And this is what come from it. Like I had a torn rotator cuff because 3 months into it I got overconfident and tore my rotator cuff doing an alley-oop soul for their Ansro competition. And so my tricks are real limited, but it was more about the skates and just reminiscing.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very good edit.
So not only were the skates $50, they fit you too.
Yeah, size 9. Yeah, so it was like perfect.
Nice. And do you still have the skates?
No, I sold them to another rollerblader in Los Angeles for $300 US. I used them once, and I was like, "Yep, that's enough. I'm not going to be rolling around in these clunky things again." So
you should have painted them. You should have painted them red and sold them to Scott.
Yeah, well, Scott said to me later on at some event, "Why didn't you hit me up to buy them?" And I was just like, "Oh, they were blue."
That's gold for when we talk to Scott, man. That's brilliant. Where was that? Where was that ledge? By the way,
Ocean Spa. So that's like one of my favorite spots because it's low and just I like to skate baby stuff nowadays.
Yeah, there's a lot of wax on there.
Yeah. They're starting to chip out a little bit now, but they've still got a lot of good life in them.
Nice.
I'll just open the curtain a bit to see if that helps the lighting.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
It's a bit dark in here.
That is such a Napier jammy thing to do, the way to buy a set of skates for $50 and selling them for $300 US.
that wasn't even like I didn't advertise like big money. I just put them on Blade Trade Outpost, and someone messaged me, "I'll give you 300 for them now," and I was like, "Yes."
To be fair,
I didn't even have a PayPal account. I had to create one just to do the transaction.
Those 1.1s had a tiny sole area though, eh? Like, wasn't very big.
Yeah, but they locked on real well. And I did back in the 90s. I had some 3.1s, and I loved them. Yeah.
So you've owned more Oxygens than Scott Bentley anyway.
2 pairs, yeah.
Sweet. So we don't have to get all chronological about it, but do you want to tell us like how you first got into skating, like from the beginning?
Yeah, just it was like 1991 or 1992, and it was just popping off everywhere. And my mum got me some Malibus, I think they were, or something along those lines. Yeah. And I just started rolling around and jumping off gutters and stuff like that, and picked it up quite fast, and then ended up out at Anderson Park and saw like a few other guys like Johnny Cooper, Pat and a couple of other old guys. They were all rolling around on the half pipes and stuff, and then I just, wow, this is awesome, and it just kind of continued from there.
So were you? So when you were going on your Malibu missions, were you just by yourself?
I had like a little cousin, who was the same age as me, and we used to go and roll around on our Malibus, and it was like 3 straps, 8 big wheels. There was no such thing as real, like, it wasn't much like grinds or anything back then. I don't know if there was any. It was more like just going up and down and doing, how Ben mentioned, those 50-50 rolling stalls or whatever they are, and stuff along those lines.
Yeah.
So, I consider, I'm right from the OG era. There was just one group of OGs before I started.
Yeah.
Because, Pat and all that had obviously started before I did. But, I still fall in that category of, like, ultra OG.
91's probably reasonably early in terms of, like, our generation of skaters. That's a good time to get into it. But, and I suppose the next question from that is, like, when did the rink open? Like, when was that available?
So the rink had been there, like, 100 years earlier. Like for roller skating and stuff like that.
Of course.
My first like encounters I remember of going to the rink, it was just concrete, one launch ramp in the middle of the rink, and a single sheet plywood quarter pipe that Pat and Johnny and that had constructed. And that was like amazing. We loved that launch ramp, and we'd play on it for hours, and that quarter pipe, and we'd just roll around. That was what you did.
Yeah.
What was your connection with Hamilton too, Kev? Because very early on, you were standing at the base of our quarter pipe, not dropping in, snaking all of us.
That's because I was intimidated by all these wealthy kids, and so my connection was my old man. I didn't really have like a relationship with growing up, really, but every now and then he'd like say, I'm going to take you for the holidays. So I'd end up in Hamilton for the holidays. And I did like get a couple of sessions in at Roller Force, I think, before it went to Tarapa. But I remember you just coming along. I was quite shy and nervous, and there wasn't that much room on top of the quarter pipes. So I would hang out at the bottom of the quarter pipes and wait for my turn and go and skate and do my shit.
Whether it was your turn or not, you'd go.
That's right. That's right. I was just showing you guys. I had, trying to say, okay, us boys in Napier, we can do it too.
Yeah, nice.
So when did you upgrade from triple strap Malibus?
Just through the I got some hand-me-downs. Like I ended up at one point I was skating Bauer FX3's 3 wheels, and I was doing front sides and back sides within the back groove within the back groove of my skates, and saw grinds would be with my front groove, so I'd lock on with my front groove. But basically that was all the grinds we were doing, and it was just Miller flips and judos and mutes and all that, and spin to win and stuff like that. So I remember having a pair of those, and then I got some hand-me-down purple lightnings, with the purple cuffs. Yeah. And I had the duct tape over the bubbles from all the knee drops, and some anti-rocker with some hyper giants or hyper fat boys on the outside. That was like the beginning of like awesomeness, really.
Yeah, cool. Funnily enough, I remember those fat boys, because I remember thinking, I think we had a pair, Niam. We had a pair somewhere, and we were like, how they were real. It was quite, maybe it was in like it was in the late 90s. I think we had a set, and we were like, let's see how long these will last, like one day street skating. And I think we broke a set in like one day in Hamilton.
Yeah.
They just
we loved them. That was one point of difference for like Napier, Hastings skaters and Hamilton skaters. Hamilton skaters had like a real good access to good street, where Hawke's Bay, we had a few gnarly rails like Telecom and like the Red Rail and Hastings and the race course, but that was about it. So a lot of us, it was like park, park was our thing. And I remember like coming out and not experiencing street and seeing all you guys doing what we could do in parks, but you were doing them on street, and we were like, that was kind of new to me. Like I remember that like subtle differences that we had like as crews, like H-Town just had a little bit more of an edge when it came to like doing handrails and stuff, because we didn't have that many of them.
Yeah, that was actually in one of the notes that I wrote down we wanted to talk to you about. We can talk about it soon, but can we just go back, like the rink, because the rink for you guys is kind of the same as Roller Force was for us. So when did it start getting better there? Like you said that you only started with a couple of quarters. I always remember the rink being really fun and there were heaps of ramps, but when did it start getting better?
I think it started getting better when Pat like somehow got in with the council, or maybe Pat took over the rink. But it was all him that created and developed it all. Like it started off with like I remember we got a big box, the big steep box that had the steep handrail attached to the side. Like that was our first like cool grinding thing. We had like a couple of grind boxes and poles. They started coming in, and then it just eventuated from there. Like because the boxes, the way they were designed, they were like Lego pieces.
Yeah,
we could get other pieces from somewhere else, and then it would just create and expand from there, and we'd put other things on the other side of it, and it just evolved. And it was all Pat. No one else like had any, not that I know of, had any like input in developing it or anything like that. We were just like happy to skate it.
Yeah, you guys had names for everything too. You had names for all the different boxes.
Yeah, big box, little box, Mojo box, Sepultura box.
Yeah.
So the Sepultura box was the smaller version of the Mojo box.
Yeah.
Named after heavy metal bands.
There's kids around the country that think a grind box is called a Mojo box. They think
that's I still call them Mojo boxes, if I come across one.
So the rink, and to credit Pat for that, like that's massive, because he did set that scene off in a way. Especially like you say, you didn't have a massive amount of real street spots. I remember you used to work there a little bit, didn't you?
I probably did. Like would work in the shop or something like that for Pat to get free entries and stuff like that. But I never like officially was on the books or anything like that. It would have been like doing some bum jobs to get like free drinks from the canteen and free entry and stuff like that, or free membership.
I snuck in heaps. I just want to add. I think I might have paid twice.
I'd go in and take money from the till when I was a kid. That's how bad I was. Yeah.
You're not going to get a Megadeth box if you keep stealing from the till.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured out how to like get Cokes out of the Coke machine. So, we'd always have Coke on tap and be all good to go.
So all the ramps at the rink had to be movable because it get moved out at the end of each session for the next kind of
for hockey. Yeah, because there was a roller hockey team called the Napier Sharks. You kind of just jolted my memory then, So there was a big roller hockey scene down here as well.
Yeah. There was too in Hamilton. That's what our rink was too. We had the Hamilton Devils, right?
Yeah. And we had the Napier Sharks. Later on, I think we did a tour with the Napier Sharks once, and we went down to Kapiti Skating Blade in Wellington, and it was like the aggressive skaters and the hockey skaters all in one bus. We became enemies, and it was like the aggressive skaters hated the hockey skaters, and we became rivals and stuff like that back in the day.
You mustn't have had enough skateboarders in Napier, I guess.
Oh yeah, there was a few. Like to this day, I'm still called that kid who rollerbladed today.
Yeah.
You know, that rollerblading kid. You know,
Yeah.
like so there was a big skateboard culture, and eventually I got sucked into it and pulled away, and that's what I did for about 5 years later on.
So did that happen because the scene started to fizzle out, or did you just lose interest a little bit?
For me, it was a sequence of events. Like because I was skating at like my kind of at my prime then. Like we discovered street. We were traveling around the country, and we were doing massive street stunts, all the rails that we could, everything that was like popular then. We were busting out. And then I was on rollerblade with that, and we we made like a video, and then the boys sent it to Ricardo to try and get everyone onto Solomon, and I was in the video, Kevin Batten, 15 years old, and then I got dropped from rollerblade. About 2 weeks later, I was doing a fakie 720 on the little mini ramp that was like a vert at the rink.
Yeah.
And I slammed and I snapped my shin. And then I just after that, it was just like I was stuck at home for about 8 weeks. I just, the passion started to fizzle out. I'd just been dropped by a rollerblade. I did get some USDs off Frank Lou that I had to ring him up and be like, oh, anything out there? What can I get some boots? Because Aaron took the spiders off me.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. So I got some USDs during this time because they were just being released. Well, they were just coming into New Zealand anyway. So I got some first edition Josh Petty's off, I think it was Frank.
Yeah, Frank, yeah.
And then, basically, by the time I came back after being out of it for about, because I couldn't skate for at least 12 weeks, all my mates had kind of, like my crew was like, nah, bugger it, we're not even like rollerblading anymore. They were too busy into like other things that teenage boys would get up to, you know? And then it was just like, after a little while, I just ended up suckering out and going into skateboarding, and kind of because of peer pressure, because none of my mates were doing it anymore. Like, there was people that I was still friends with doing it, but like my main clique had stopped.
Yeah.
So my main clique would have been like Rory, Sam, Andrew Macleod, Ellie Macleod, Johnny, and all that. None of them were actually rolling anymore. Or Matt, you know, it was too busy. Like Matt and Johnny were a bit older than us, so they were like fully getting into party mode.
Yeah.
And I just, just Rory got a skateboard, and then I got a skateboard, and that was, for about 5 years, I just was skateboarding. And that would have been 1999. So just before it blew up, you know, like blading went all, because now I look back at it, it went all like massive and huge and danger stunts and all that, like during the early 2000s. So that's when I kind of gave up, was like 1999, I think, beginning of 99.
The Jumping Groove era.
It's kind of sad when you lay it out like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, but it's just how it happened, eh? Like just those events, like so I was at my peak of skating, but then I broke my leg and then got dropped, and then just the passion just kind of fizzled. But I always, you know, like throughout the years, I always had like little flirty moments where I was flirting with getting back to skating and, you know, thinking about it, and it was always there. And like I think around 2015 or 2012, I might have got my first pair of skates like off Trade Me, a pair of razors or something, and had a little jam on those for a little while. And then when I moved to Auckland, I started catching up with Liam and doing a few play around rolls there and here and there. And then it stopped again. So a little like I'd jam for a couple of months and then stop, and then jam for a couple of months in my later years. But this has been the longest now. I've been back at it for about, it'd probably be coming up 2 years soon.
It's cool.
It was funny when you came back, and I remember having a first session with you at Waterview, and you had those USD Grycons you just bought off Trade Me, another Trade Me purchase, and you hadn't lost anything. Like straight away, you were royaling across the top and down of the rail, trying to soul it. and then it rained, and you did a big cess slide across the top and down, and that was really, really rad. It was cool to see.
Yeah, I definitely lost everything though. Like it's kind of like riding a bike because I did dedicate like 6 years or 7 years of my early childhood and early teens. Absolutely, rollerblading was the end all be all. That was like my life. And when I come back, doing royales and doing mizus and soul grinds and klein grinds or whatever, like that was like kind of limitations.
Yeah.
Like now I look at handrails and I can't do that anymore. I can't take a bail like that. I learned that real fast when I did my rotator cuff, and now like I'm filled with like I can't be off and injured for 6 months at the moment. Like just what Ben was saying. It's pretty risky. So now I'm just sticking to playing with like little ledges and stuff like that. That's my go-to.
But I think that when you like all three of us probably agree with this. Like when you learn to skate at somewhere like the Napier rink or the Hamilton rink, you learn all that basic stuff so well and so solid that when you do pick it up later on, like even for myself, like I know what you mean. You lose stuff, but that basic stuff comes back really fast.
Yeah.
When you've got that foundation.
Yeah, you got the foundations. You can always jump on a pair of skates and do a royale, or always do like a soul grind or something like that. And I had visions like 15 months ago when I first started again. I was envisaging myself like, I'm going to go hit handrails. I'm going to do all this stuff. And crunch. Crunch. And I smashed it. And now I'm just like, nah, I'm 95 kgs. I can't fall from down a 6-stair rail and just hit the concrete and get back up again.
Yeah. So, it's funny how it's a surprise to you as well.
I get envious though because people
you're like, why isn't this working? Why can't I do this anymore? Yeah.
There are people that can do it though. Like Mike Farr's like one of those people. He's just jumped back on the blades in the last year and he's just killing it. And he'll just throw himself down anything and over anything. And it's like, wow, you're crazy, man.
Yeah. So to be like back in the day, man, you like not only did you have some of those hard tricks every time. You went fast, and like I think Nia mentioned as well, like you were like always flying over that massive box at in Napier, and then that carried on into like X-Air and like so. Yeah. Good, man.
The nationals were like it carried on into the nationals. I never did the X-Airs. I did.
Oh, you did. It was nationals. Yeah.
Yeah, I did 95 or 96 and 97 maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like because I found a certificate today. I was having lunch at Mum's and she had a certificate. It was a qualifying round, like it was the regionals to qualify to internationals.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I give it all the Napier people who were skating back then can go and skate any park or bowl like amazing, eh? Because it was that's what we're.
You guys were all really good in the air too. You could all do really good flips, and you had the best fly fish flat spins I've ever seen. Why do you think that was?
Because we just competed with each other, and we would just throw ourselves over the launch box all day, every day, And it was there was a lot of everyone was at a pretty good level, so everyone was pushing boundaries to get better. And we just wanted to be the feeling of it. It was just amazing, like Hayden Ross was. Yeah, Napier were consisted of all these different little cliques that hung out at the rink, and there was like, in every little clique there was like someone who was like amazing, or a couple of people that were real good in it,
Yeah, it did seem like every time we visited you guys, there was a certain level of competition amongst everyone there.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
It made you feel like you had to compete when you got there as well, being an outsider coming in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was one of our. We had to make sure we could beat the Hamilton people. You were like you guys were the like there was a Napier crew and the Hamilton crew, like because Auckland had a little crew like the Beagley brothers and that. Wellington had Glenn Wignall, Tim Brenner, and all those guys. But Hamilton had like quite a big crew.
Mm.
And I'd like done my research on you guys by watching you skate at Roller Force and Tarapa or whatever it was.
You infiltrated.
Hey?
Yeah, we had a lot of street spots, and most of us had like boxes at home as well. So there was a lot of. So we were thinking about like the way that we basically infiltrated your house every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really did just come in and basically take over, it felt like.
Yeah, well, my mum was just happy to like, that everyone was safe, and if everyone was at my house, she knew where I was.
Mm.
I guess that was the part of it, and to be fair, like I had like it was just me and my mum, so she would always support like whatever with what she could. She didn't have like lots of finances or anything, but she'd always like take my mates and anyone who needed a place to stay and stuff like that. But they were awesome. They were awesome times.
Yeah.
It felt like we were there almost every 6 to 8 weeks. We'd be at your house.
Yeah, there was there was quite a few trips for you guys down to Napier and stuff for like competitions and stuff. And I remember one night getting out of hand and everyone getting pissed and the windows getting smashed, and then you guys all chipping in money to pay for it because I was like, well, we can't pay for it.
Yeah, there was
I think Scott and Stacey stayed there as well, and
yeah, that's right.
That was that weekend that window got broken. I remember. I can't remember what the details about what happened, but yeah, it was pretty gnarly. There were a lot of people at your house.
Yeah.
You mentioned actually in a Facebook post ages about getting some free gear from Scott and Stacey at some stage.
For me?
Yeah.
Did I mention that in a Facebook post?
Yeah, or a post or a comment or something. Like, what can you remember what wheels you got? And
I got some like TJ Weber's, the cigarette ones, some TJ Weber's off Scott. Yeah. And I think another time I got some the next season of TJ Weber's as well, and I got quite a few things from Scott. I think like a couple of sets of wheels, and so the thing at Napier is Napier had to hustle for everything. Okay, no one had we had not much selection and no money. We didn't have like we'd roll skates until they were like we'd roll hubs. We'd roll down to hubs if we had to, and that's just how it was, so
I think I remember Scotty actually hooking you up that time, because he used to quite often drive around with a couple of shoe boxes full of gear.
Yeah.
I think I remember you like that was sort of some form of payment for all the anarchy that unfolded around your place. So
and another time in Hamilton he did the same thing. We were like, I don't know who was with me, but we were rolling around Hamilton, street spots and stuff, and Scott was there and he had some wheels in his car and he hooked me up with some sets then, and I was like, whoa, I went back to Napier and was like, check this out, motherfuckers. And I'm like, whoa.
So when you got Aaron obviously started hooking you up. When did that happen?
It happened because, and you called me out on it too, Joss. Like I remember you at Roller Force putting your hand out and taking the piss out of me, and I was like, fuck that rich motherfucker. I was asking my local skate shop, so it was Sports World at the time, and I was like, hook us up, get us some skates and sponsor us with some shit. And so then Rollerblade started coming out, and they talked to the guys at Sports World, and the guys at Sports World said, well, there's this guy Kev who keeps winning all these competitions, and he's in here all the time, and he keeps saying sponsor me up. So then Aaron's got a hold of them, and then they said, hey, there's this guy Aaron coming down. I hadn't even met Aaron to see you Rollerblade. So he came down, and I was like, cool. So I took him to the library. I took the day off school, and I took him to the library, and I did some kind grinds down the little library rail, some topside porn stars down the rail, some royales, and a 540s off the stairs, and he was like, fuck, is that it? You know, what's that? That's nothing. Like, can you do flips and shit? And I was like, yeah, of course I can do all that shit. Of course I can. And then like we went to the rink. Maybe we jumped the fence and we pulled out some launch ramps, and he was like, show me your flips. And I because all he cared about was someone who could do flips over the van. To do demos, you know, like he wanted people who could launch high and do flips and stuff for the demos.
Just thinking about it in pocket, eh?
Yeah. So we went there. I did like misty flips, some back flips, some Baranis, or just flipped out. And he was like, oh yeah, cool. And I don't think he told me on the spot then. He was like, okay, sweet as. And then like I found out like on the phone or something, yep, this is what you are. I was skating Majestic 12s then, I think.
Yeah.
And then I had to go. He was like, oh, okay. He gave me box cars. So they sent me a package with box cars and like RB t-shirts and the big RB Menace pads and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, fucking awesome. And my mates were like, oh, you're skating box cars, look at those frames. And I was like, who cares? You know, they're free and that's for now, you know, like there's new shit coming, you know, like so yeah, I don't know. I think I was just on the flow team, or like I was definitely not pro, or I was, Ben said flow, bro, and pro. I don't know where I was, but I got gifted like I think in that time I got a couple of pairs of Dirks and a pair of Spizers, and shitloads of wheels and shitloads of like pads and just RB t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that. And I did some like touring around, you know, like in Auckland and that with Aaron in the van, and slept under his pool table at one of his flats or something.
Yeah.
Grant Walker was on the team back then, and I think Hayden Ross. So that's how I got onto rollerblade.
When he kicked you off, he took your skates.
Yeah, he came around and picked up my skates. Yeah. I shed a little tear, I was pretty like upset, like fucking motherfucker, like because I was like in the rollerblading video, like, yes, this is awesome. And we created like, I would love to see that video now because it was me skating at my finest on handrails and stuff. But yeah, and it was just like I was a part of that video, and it got sent, and it was like Nick Schuler or someone sent the letter, and it was like, this is a sponsor us video. Ricardo just showed Aaron, or told Aaron Kevin Batten's in the sponsor me video for Solomon, and then I just got dropped. So I was like, I didn't get a chance to explain it or anything, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember being a bit dark on you because you got Spizers and I couldn't have any. I kept asking Aaron, and he's like, sorry, man, there's nothing I can do. But I guess if you can't...
Were you on RB as well?
Yeah, I think maybe just after you, but I think it was on the down low. And I kept saying, like, I want a pair of those grey skates. I want a pair of those Spizers. Why can't I have them? Like, and I guess that was why. Like, no flip over van, no skates.
You 540'd over Jason's car once, Joss. I remember that.
If you don't go upside down over the van, you're no use to them. So
I don't think I remember upside down. I did a bio. That's about it.
I think I did a 180 flip maybe once or twice. It was a 180 like Barani. It wasn't a misty or anything. It was like because that's the easiest flip where you can like monitor the whole situation.
Yeah.
You know, so you can see everything. But yeah, so But I remember you like doing that, and I was like, this cunt, he's just such a rich spoiled fella. Like and I was like, arsehole, but I was like, doesn't matter, I'm just gonna I'm gonna outskate him right now. I'm just gonna skate better than anyone here.
That's cool, man. Like that's really cool. It is.
That's what I was thinking back then.
So going back to staying at your house, Kev, whose idea was it to put a 10-cent coin on the railway tracks?
I don't know. Can't remember. I mean, was it mine? Was it?
I don't know. I wondered who it was, because you remember we used to sit at your house and it was quite close to the railway tracks. So chuck a 10-cent coin on it, which would set off the sensors. So the barrier arms would stay down. There'd be no train and all these cars backed up either way. And we just watched to see how long the queue would get.
We thought it was you because that's where I learned it from.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like it could have been. It's one point I don't remember, but we were reckless and young, like because we used to skate at the rink all day, and then it would close for 2 hours, and then open for the night sessions. And in those 2 hours, all the Napier skaters would just wreak havoc through the city of Hawke's Bay, like kicking over rubbish bins, just stair bashing things and trying to grind the most awkward, ugliest ledges, and just being like menaces to society. That's what we were like on blades. I'm sure you guys would have done some like where we skated and then we'd go back to my house. We'd all rollerblade back from the rink and just go through all the schools and go crazy. We good times. But yeah, it was just filled with like a lot of havoc and a lot of early drinking and stuff. So my memory is not too good, because we'd have a couple of older people who would buy us all piss. And then
there's a lot of grey areas, There's a lot of grey areas.
Yeah.
I think I only remember going to maybe 4 street spots top in Napier the whole time that I ever skated there. So you guys, you guys are definitely more park orientated, or we'd travel out to bowls. So
yeah. So bowls and parks, they're all the same, really. Standing in front of a 10-stair handrail was a different buzz for us. Well, for me it was. Eventually we caught up, and we got there in the end. All the micro skaters and stuff, and like Hayden Ross and Michael Farr and Cameron Waite, rest in peace, if you guys remember him. Bower Respect.
He used to skate Bowers.
With Hamish. Yeah. Hamish hooked him up some Bower Respect. He was like in it and good as we all got there in the end, but I remember 96 nationals or 97. What year did Julio and Arlo come?
We were talking about this the other day. We weren't sure if it was 97 or 98.
I think it was 96 or 97. But we all went to Altair Square afterwards, and I remember watching Tim, and he was doing true spin top horns on that rail, and we were like, "Fuck, we've never even skated a rail like that," and it was just kind of a bit scary, I guess. But we learned a lot from just those sessions. And hanging out with the Hamilton crew and stuff, we learned a lot. And then we really challenged ourselves and traveled around finding street spots and learning to do the street, because street was where it was at.
Yeah. So what happened after? When did you actually leave Napier?
Not for ages. So I left Napier in 2008. So moved to Wellington and got into coffee, met my wife, and then had a kid 2 years later. And when we were due for our second kid, relocated to Auckland, and that's where I sparked catching up with Nam and that again, and getting back into rolling a bit, and then relocated back to Napier 4 years ago now, because we couldn't buy a house in Auckland and we needed to get a family home, and I'm grown up enough now to come home and not be mischief.
Yeah.
When did you catch the kickboxing bug? Because you got into that as well for quite a while.
That was in Wellington, eh?
Yeah.
I just needed to do something to get into shape and get fitness. I was never planning on having any actual fights or anything. But then I for about 4 years I got really into it in Wellington, and then continued a little bit in Auckland, and came back to Napier, and I still do it now. I still train once or twice a week, trying to get back into it a little bit more, because I want to get a bit healthier and fitter just for the rollerblading side.
Yeah.
But the problem is I keep hurting myself on the rollerblades, and then I can't go to training. so it's like a catch-22. But I met there's a lot of kickboxers that are rollerbladers.
Yeah.
So there's so I met Dexter and Meat and Artua crew, like they knew who I was. Or Dexter, he turned up to kickboxing and was like, Kevin Batten. And I was like, who are you? And he was like, Kevin Batten, you're a rollerblader. And I was like, whoa. He's like, I was. Like, like a whole lifetime ago. And then like, it was like, oh yeah, we're rollerbladers too. And then I developed like a good friendship with all them because Meat started training, and then I met Gibby and a few of their crew, like, because they were staying in Wellington, and so yeah, 6 degrees of separation, you know, in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so, how many fights did you have when you were kickboxing?
I've had 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all good. Hey?
What
no wins.
No one.
No wins, but they're all good, hard fights, and I was proud of myself after the match. Like, and I was like, yeah, like they were good, solid. It was like split decision loss and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a good, hard fight. But I'm just a heavy, short guy, so I'm always up against like a beast of a person.
Low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Was there any like I guess this is a bit of a weird question, but were there any kind of similarities between when you were skating and competing and then I guess fighting, like when you're going into the ring? Like
yeah, I felt, yeah, there's nerves, you know, like I remember being in the nationals and having the nerves, like I know I can stick all these tricks and I know I can, like, this line is like what it needs to be. This is like, I was a competition skater. Anyway, that's veering off the topic, yeah, but same thing, like I'd have nerves before I get in the ring, feeling a little bit sick, like, fuck, I know I can fight. I know this, but what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
The difference is no one's going to punch me in the face on the street course.
Maybe
but,
not.
You know, someone in the ring is trying to kill me, you know, so that's the differences, but there's still those nerves.
It depends on how many quarter pipes you stand in front of, Kev.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I considered myself a competition skater, eh? Like, I think I placed at every nationals I went in. I was definitely either second or third in like the categories I entered.
Yeah.
Like Tim Van Weed was like he was in my eyes, he was my like rival in my competition.
Yeah.
I don't know what he thought of me, but in my perspective was like, he's the guy I need to beat.
He was a spoiled rich kid, so he probably never thought you were his competition.
yeah. But like for me, he was the guy that was like, because I had a sense of arrogance and I was a smart ass little guy. You know, I might have come across that way towards you guys at some point, but I was confident in my skating ability back then.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was like, Tim Van Weed's the guy to beat, and I can't beat him because I can't do a bloody true spin top horn, and that's the trick that he's doing to beat me. You know, like, and I couldn't do it. Like, so yeah, he wouldn't have had that, but I had that like thing that was like my personal thing. Like, I wasn't worried about other people in the competition. It was like I've got to like skate to a level of what he's skating at.
Well, that's the difference. Is like I don't think there was any. Like you were really consistent, and that's the same thing with Van. Like he was always really consistent. Like, and no disrespect to Tim, but like for a while, to me personally, he was kind of a one-trick pony with that disaster alley-oop top horn. And I don't mean that in a nasty way because it was a really hard trick.
He's calling it out, weirdo.
He would throw it everywhere. He'd pull it out like the pick-up 4 card in Uno, you know. I love you, Tim, but yeah, he had a lot of other tricks. But what my point was, like, you guys were both really, really consistent.
Yeah, I remember another time you guys calling me out and saying I was copying Tim's line, but I never copied Tim's line. That was the line that like my brain developed, which was like the line to obviously to place in the competition, and that's the way the park was. But I remember someone saying, "Oh, Kev's copying Tim's line," but no, I didn't even see Tim's line. That was like the line that I devised, and I was like, that's just because they're not on that level that I'm on.
We're gonna have to ask. When we interview Tim, we're gonna have to like ask him all about this because
it probably means nothing to him. It was just probably all in my head, you know. Like That's just how it was, he was the guy that I had that I actually couldn't beat him. I never beat him, but I wasn't worried about anyone else. I thought that I could always place as where everyone else, on even par with everyone else, if not above it. But I could never he was my personal thing that I couldn't beat.
Yeah. Well, you and all the rest of everyone else in skating New Zealand, apart
The
from
entire
maybe
country.
Hey?
The
Yeah.
entire country was the same.
at that time anyway.
Yeah.
You were I remember when we used to come to your house and it showed in your skating, you really, when you're at your peak or your prime, you'd really emulated your style and the tricks that you were doing on Kevin Gillan. And you used to just play I can't remember, was it his espionage section over and over and over and over and over again in your house? Can you remember why Kevin Gillan's skating spoke to you in general and he became your idol at a point?
Spicer was always my number one idol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Roadhouse was always who I wanted to be. And that's why I got Roadhouse skates, because everyone knew that Kevin loved Spicer. But when Kevin Gillan and Dustin Lennon came out in, what was it, VG6 or 5, and they had their mini views. I don't actually remember, I just loved pretty much Team Senate and Team Medium. I just wanted to be all of those guys, so Team Senate, Team Medium, second generation Team Senate, and that was who I wanted to be and who I wanted to skate like. And what section was I playing over and over? Was it the VG5 one, or was it Espionage?
Espionage. Okay, there was that particular rap song in it, and you were just all over it at the time.
Didn't it have a food song to it or something?
No, that was his USD section, I think. I wish I
remember Latimer and Gillan had a split section in one of the videos.
Is that the mini views? That was on VG5 or something, or VG6.
I think everyone, that was solid. And when that came out, that was I can see why you wanted to get on that buzz.
Style was a big part of it, style was a good part of skating, if you didn't have I used to really think style was cool, you got to I can't do that now because my body doesn't bend like it used to, but getting low and getting your legs right and everything was huge part of skating. To me, it was anyway.
I think most people from our generation probably agree. It was as big a part as the tricks.
Yeah.
Because there was people who were crazy and who could throw dangerous stuff and stuff that's oh man, if you miss that, you're fucked. But it was just ugly as shit.
Yeah,
so it was
it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Yeah. It's cool. You threw yourself, at 25 kilometers an hour down that handrail, but you were standing up solid, and it was just terrible looking. Back in our day, a lot of it was skating up slow and doing a slow 270 backside royale and balancing it out down a long handrail, so style had a big part to play with it when you were balancing.
You're also super good at, I remember all the whole True Mizu, True Soul, True Markio, seeing your mojo box down the launch box and just seeing you kill that trick time after time after time after time.
Yeah, that was my spot though. That whole place was my spot back then. It was after I left, that was what Tom Scowie or whatever his name is turned into, it was his spot, I remember coming back briefly and watching some competitions, maybe 5 years out, and just seeing Danny Jensen and everyone just, remember I entered a competition and I just borrowed someone's skates and I jumped on and had a go. And I wasn't skating that good, but everyone was style was completely different, baggy ads clothes and doing 12 tricks down that one long rail,
Yeah.
And I was poof, fuck, what the hell? This is I missed that time where it really advanced. I was at the beginning of the rollerblading and so medium Team Senate and USD's just coming out, Team USD and then I kind of dropped off. But I missed out on a good 10 years of where rollerblading like the skill level and the danger stunts and all that blew up like majorly. So yeah, I remember coming back and seeing that and going, wow, that's just like outrageous. And here I was like, oh, I'll do an alley porn star down this rail and that's cool, and I can do a 540, and but I was really like sketchy.
Royales for life.
Yeah, that's my go-to. I love it. I love a good Royale.
Well, I was going to ask if you had any, like, if you could name your top 3 favorite spots to skate in New Zealand, but it doesn't necessarily have to be street spots because, like you say, you're a competition skater. But have you got some favorite spots in mind that you can remember?
So for street spots, it had to be the Red Rail at Hastings, and that was all because of one day that I skated there, and we had someone had a camcorder, and I just got every trick, that was cool at the time on it, and so that was like, and it was quite a high rail, but if you jumped out further enough, you'd lock on. I'm sure you guys have both skated it.
Yep.
And it had the pillar at the end of it. Hey?
I just remember it being really, really high.
Yeah, but it was just it was good for us in Hawke's Bay anyway. So that was like probably one of my favorite street spots. Obviously the rink when it was like, well, it was before it like turned into what it turned into, but the rink was like where I learned everything. I did love the Oriental markets because every time I went there, I had like a good ass skate, a good session, the street parks that were there.
Yeah.
Garden Place, I had like amazing times at Garden Place as well. In Hamilton, so, like getting a topside acid down the Garden Place curb and a kind grind and stuff like that, like blew my mind, and that was cool. Even what other like street spot really stood out? Like
Garden Place was a gnarly ledge too. That was rounded off.
Yeah, but like it was. And I was there one day with Cam and all that, and like we would push each other. Like every session we'd all skate. Like we all had our tricks, and everyone had to do those tricks. Like and kind grind was one of my go-tos, and it was hard because it was a ledge. If that was like a hard session spot.
Well, a kind grind on that ledge would hold up today, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, it was good times. What else is there though? Like, I don't know.
Did you skate a lot of street spots in Auckland?
Nah, not really, because I did skate Cornwall once. So the school that had the round pole,
the curve rail, yeah.
So that was a good session one day. Cross the road from Grant's house, that little handrail. And skated. Yeah, I know I did have some street sessions and stuff, but I just can't really remember. Like some of that time was a bit cloudy. But I remember like me and skates time. Like I had a good day at Hamilton Uni in the museum once. I've still got a scar on my knee today from doing the museum gap, like the car park gap.
Oh, down the bottom, yeah.
Yeah. So I've still got a scar that got infected on my kneecap because I knee dropped, and I knee dropped hard because of the landing, and I scraped all the skin off my knee, and then it got infected, and like to this day it's still there.
Nice.
So how does skating look to you now as a father of 3? Like how often?
How does it look to me?
How often do you manage to get out? And
I actually get out quite a bit. I'm a sucker for an hour of power. So I just go out and just skate for an hour, then I'm knackered and I'm done. Like I've got no longevity really when it comes to skating now. It's like literally I'll go somewhere knowing what I want to do. Like I'm literally one of those guys that everyone talks about. I'm that 40-year-old that's returned to skating, and I'm an Instagram roller. Like I will put my camera up against the wall and be like, okay, I'm going to nail this trick, and that will get me to nail this trick, and I'll keep trying until I get it. And then once I've got it, I'm like, all right, my body's caving in now, I'm out. And I know there's actually a bit of like beef about that out there in the rollerblading world, like people using Instagram and stuff, like doing it for the gram, but it's actually helped me be consistent, and I've been using that to it works for me.
Yeah.
I'll post
If that's a formula that works for you, then that's at least it gets you to do it. There's so many reasons not to do it when you're 40 that
yeah, that's it. Like I will see a rail or a street spot and be like, I want to do that, so I'll go there and I'll put my phone up and I'll just sometimes I will just film an hour session trying to land this trick. And it won't even be that glorious, but I just want to get this trick, and then I'll just post it to an aggressive inliner or whatever, and that's my thing.
Who has beef with that? Who's got a problem with that?
Yeah.
Oh, I've just seen it in rollerblading and chats and stuff. Some people are oh, you're not it's not like the purist. You should be out there skating for skating. You don't need to show everyone you're skating every time you skate. But it's well, that's how I get out to go for a skate.
To me, there couldn't be anything more purist than just doing it for yourself. It's not like you're getting a trick to show the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've just seen reviews and heard people saying that, and it's and I am that classic, because there is a huge influx, and it's been happening for the last 2 years, of all these old people returning to skating and doing exactly what I'm doing. So it's one of those things, and it's but deep down I'm I am an OG. I am a rollerblader. I did my time of rollerblading and I was there. It's just now I'm just relearning it and only relearning basics, and I like it. It gives me drive. I get out there, I do it. I get 20 likes from my little clip that I put up, and it's I haven't put a clip up for a week. I'm going to go out for a roll and catch a clip.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it up. So that's another driver.
Yeah, because there's nothing to prove.
Yeah,
but you need motivation. Sometimes I need some motivation to get out, to get an hour of power. I need a bit of I travel for work as well, so I'm always looking at things when I'm driving around for work, and I'll be I'm going to stop here and do a quick little hit, while I'm in Tokoroa, or a quick little hit while I'm in Tauranga or Rotorua or something like that.
Quick little hit in Tokoroa, eh?
Used to be something different.
So what do you do now, Kev? What are you doing for work?
Just an account manager, sales rep, coffee. I just kind of fell into it, after being a barista for years, and then roasting coffee, and then training people, and it's a job that I just it's like my trade that I fell into, and I'm at the job of account management and sales and stuff's pretty much the pinnacle of the hospitality industry of pays. That's where you're going to get the best pay and stuff. The best salary is in the cars and the laptops and stuff like that. So it's
you've also judged barista competitions as well, eh?
Yeah, so coffee was a big part of my life for the last 13 years.
Yeah.
So just judging competitions. I entered a few competitions and stuff as well. But so there's a whole different culture to coffee rather than just 2 sugars and instant coffee. There's a big culture out there in the industry, but it's going through struggle street right now because of COVID and price hikes and freighting and green beans and all that. So.
Here's your quick fire question from me. You have to leave one behind: coffee or beer?
Well, it'd have to be beer because I have to support my family. so if I can get a job in the beer industry, coffee later.
Good answer. Good answer.
Here's another quick fire question, Kev. What's your favorite Wu-Tang song?
My favorite Wu-Tang song. Oh, yeah, no, that's a hard one because I like so many of them.
You could probably pick an album too.
Eh?
You can probably just pick an album if you want as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be 36 chambers.
Yeah, I've put it so.
Nice.
Yeah, that's definitely probably my favorite album. But I do like individual artist albums, and yeah, just all of Wu-Tang. Like, hard to pick one song because I can relate to like many of them, and I've just got like memories with many of them. Daytona 500 is always a Josh Petty song to me.
Yeah. And Shadow Boxing.
Yeah. So
Niam's like a filing system of video part songs, so
Yeah.
he knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You,
I was always Daytona 500 because
Do
that
you-
was Brian Jagger's song.
do you skate with headphones on?
I do sometimes. Yep. But I've got like the ones that sit here, so they sometimes slip off, and like, but I do, but a lot of the time I'm filming with my phone anyway, so I'll have to shut it down.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, if I'm not filming.
Sorry, I stuffed it up. But next quick question: where's Peter Dunkley's secret spot?
Oh, I can't tell you. He'll kill me. There's no metal allowed to go there, eh?
So can't take my scooter kid.
No metal allowed. No, I can't. I'd love to tell you, but not live on this podcast.
Not even for us. Oh,
No one's watching, Kev. Don't worry.
okay,
It's not
on the next
Peter's spot.
episode.
It's Isaac's spot. It's Isaac's spot, apparently.
Really? So
Because
he knows.
I actually messaged Tim, and I was like, bro, no one's telling me the spot because Peter wouldn't tell me. So
Yeah.
no one told me, and I was like getting like antsy about it, and I was like, Tim, where the fuck's the spot at? And he was like, oh, if they don't tell you, I'll ring Isaac and I'll get him to tell you. And I was like, literally all I want to do is go set up my phone and do like 5 tricks at 8 o'clock in the morning and then go home. And because that's it, I'll squeeze a skate in at 8 o'clock in the morning or a skate at like a random time, just when I get like an opportunity.
Yeah. You've got into skating with your kids too, and I've noticed, is it one or both of your daughters?
Yeah, both of them have got rollerblades, eh? Like, and I sometimes they feel like coming out, and sometimes they don't. But they're both learning to drop in and stuff now. Like, I got my youngest daughter's got a set of Celtics.
Yeah.
The expandable ones, and my oldest daughter, she was like, no, I want a skateboard, Dad. So I went and bought her a new skateboard for Christmas. And then she was like, I want to use my rollerblades again. So she's got some Impalas, and I just put some anti-rockers in there so she could like do stalls and stuff. Like, and yeah, so they're at the level they're dropping in and stuff like that. But it's still like, yeah, it's a bit funny because when I take them to the park, I want to focus on skating.
Yeah.
With so I can't focus all the time on teaching them. So it's kind of like, you've got the blades, go do your thing, and I'll come and help you later on. But I'm busy like having a jam with the boys at the moment.
Well, you've got to get your hour of power in.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, hour of power. Sometimes it's only 45 minutes.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that approach of letting your kids just go and figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I like it, and they're doing well. They're dropping in and stuff, and it's cool. I actually sometimes me watching them is like worse because I'm like, oh no, I know what can happen here. If they're like, I'm like, I just let them do it without me saying it, and then we'll deal with if there's any falls afterwards.
And you still split it up, eh? Like I quite often see you skateboarding as well. So you still do a bit of
Not
both?
recently, Not recently, but because skateboarding was a big part too. I did like 4 or 5 years of skateboarding, and actually, like, because I was rollerblading, it kind of naturally went into it, and I picked it up quite well. Like, well enough that I was going to enter some competitions and stuff for doing that as well. But basically, what happened is my life turned into that stage of partying, and everything went out the door. It was just party lifestyles.
Yeah.
For that while, but yeah, I still play, but not really. Now I'm like, I got to focus on one or the other, or else that's how I hurt myself. So I'm focusing on the blades at the moment, and I've got like finally after buying 5 sets of skates in the last 15 months, found some that fit my feet properly, and I can happily, comfortably stand in them for over an hour without my feet going numb and going like limp. So it's like finally I'm rolling some Fifth Elements, new ones. With I got the, what's his name, Nils Janssens, but I put white sole plates on them and got the 50/50 John from Prime frames on them. So it's a nice setup and it's good. Like I kind of have always wanted to stick, but I was pretty much sponsored by Sam Anderson, and I had 2 pairs of skates off him. In the last 12 months, I had a set of USD carbons that I got for like 160 off him, and then I got a set of thems for like 300, you know, and but they were just both not quite right on my feet.
Yeah, I've seen some photos of when you swapped over the white sole plate. You definitely make those nils look a lot better with a white sole plate, eh?
Yeah, the red just didn't sit right. And before that, I had some broskis because I was like, oh, Majestic 12s. I used to love Majestic 12s, but they didn't fit me either. They suffocated my feet. Like, yeah.
And so go back to your skateboarding. Did you ever charge up to Old Sports World with your skateboard and ask for a sponsorship? Or
No, just cheap skates. No, I wasn't that good. I wasn't that good, but I was pretty good. I could do like a few good tricks, you know. But yeah, it all kind of went out the window after the years of partying and the massive weight gain and all that kind of stuff, and like the in the bad side of the part, you know, it wasn't good for my body or the partying that I did. So you know, definitely the athleticism definitely went out the window.
Yeah.
So did you party pretty hard for a while?
Yeah, I partied pretty hard for a while. So from like it's pretty much skateboarding led into partying because, you know, like it was the age group as well. You know, like I think I got off the blading, it would have been 16, 17. And then that was like, you know, then you go into the years 18, 19, 20 on the piss, you know, like pretty much, you know, like, and small town Napier, not much else to do, skate and drink and so it was just, so I had a bit of a big party time that like, and I had a missus that was like party missus as well, you know, like, so I was with her, but we weren't like good for each other partying too much, and then eventually got out of that stage when I moved to Wellington and met my current wife, who's awesome, and now I've got 3 kids, a wife, married, and still drink a few beers every week, that's for sure, but that's about it.
Quite funny because the whole time I was involved in skating, and you guys and you, Kevin, like I kind of didn't have a gauge on people's different ages. So when you say that you got away from the scene at like 15, 16, it's kind of surprising to me because I always thought you were a bit older than that.
No, it would have been 16 or 17, like 1999 I figured it out. Like the beginning of 1999 is kind of when I hung up the blades.
Yeah.
Because I was there for like, I think the 98 at Nationals, I like came 3rd in open and 2nd in 16 and unders. And like, so that's why I remembered the 98 Nationals, like, because that was fucking awesome. I loved that time. And I thought that was when Julio come, but was it when like, it might have been when Josh Clark and all those other guys come, I don't.
Yeah, the Australians started coming over the ditch.
Yeah, Josh Clark and Dion Anthony came over.
And Sam Fogarty.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because you really should have been around for the X here, man. Like you would have slotted in there so, and you might have beaten Tim.
Yeah, Michael Farr beat him, eh? Didn't Michael Farr win one of the X years?
Did he? I can't remember him winning one.
Oh, I thought he won one.
Yeah, here come the Hamilton guys dispelling the rumor. No one beat him.
No one could beat him.
Yeah, because to win the X, you would have had to beat Tim.
Tim or Danny at some stage, yeah. There was a Tim-Danny rivalry there for a while, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did beat Tim once at a Napier comp.
At a Napier comp? Yeah, that don't count.
That don't count. Pat was probably judging, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I got like a $2 mixture.
Yeah.
Pair of old roller skates from the hire booth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been racking my brains since you guys called me last week, trying to think of memories from back in the day. But yeah, it's been a good conversation. Hopefully, it comes across as we actually talked a bit about rollerblading.
Yeah.
This
has been a really good interview, actually. Actually quite surprising. Like a lot of the stuff we talked about I didn't expect, so it's cool.
Yeah, I was just trying to reminisce, because I know there's like a whole generation of bladers in New Zealand who have got no idea who I am. You know, because of the mere fact that I was out of the game by 1999, and there's there's a whole generation of guys that I don't know, but I've seen them kind of lately because I follow what's going on. And there's a whole lot of shredders out there that are amazing, like still killing it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk to some of the new school, what I call the new school generation, because to know how much they're actually aware of what was before.
Yeah. What was your guys' theory and or reasoning behind getting me to come on as a second interviewer?
Well, I think you've got such a rich history that we've talked about. You just seemed like the logical choice. And actually, we had a really good relationship with you growing up. And I mean, like Joss has kind of said, we were both big fans of your skating.
Yeah.
We know you well, and we didn't want to do another person from who started in Auckland. You're from a different scene, but you also like you say you're park and competition skater as well. So it just seemed like a good carry on from Ben. But we're actually I think we're gonna try and get Jago on next.
Oh, yeah. Shall we call him now?
Yeah, maybe we should see if he answers his phone.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering because I know there's there's a rich crop of people you can pluck from to have these interviews. So I was wondering if there was any reasoning behind you coming to me next when there's a lot of other people who have had mad influential, influences within the rollerblading community than me.
Well, sorry, go Liam.
I was going to say, Kev, I think you're underselling it a bit because actually you were quite influential, and you're actually quite influential with us because you were the first place outside of Auckland where we could come and stay regularly, and we hung out and we got to skate it. We skated it a lot. So thanks to you and your mum for putting us up all those hundreds of times and putting up with us getting windows broken because of random passerby. So
yeah. There's a whole lot of there's heaps of people where you've got to talk to. I can remember just from our era. I'm not the only Napier person either. There's
there's other Napier people other than you and Pat.
Yeah. Man,
kidding people, just jokes.
Yeah. Philip Bristow, he's the one that's been going strong the whole time, Hayden Ross, he's another machine. Hayden Ross, he'll still jump on a pair of skates and throw himself at something real recklessly. And I'm
it seemed like he could never be hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the man. Even Clint Smith's playing on rollerblades now. My mate NZ Blading, old Tim Watts, he's on the rollerblades still now. Alison Macleod, I'm in contact with him a lot. He wants to get a set, and come for a roll.
Michael Farr would be a good interview as well at some stage.
Yeah, well, Michael Farr's got a rich history as well.
Yeah.
Johnny, he still wants to get on the blades, but he's too busy fishing on the fishing boats and smoking weed.
Nice. Well, should we phone our next guest and see if he's interested?
Yeah.
Interested to see how he reacts. I'm going to go get a bottle opener. I'll be back.
Oh, hold on. You got to hear this.
All right.
All this build up and he doesn't answer. Bugger.
Bugger. Wonder what he's up to. He'll be out blowing some glass or something.
Try one more time. And go grab your bottle opener if you want, Kev.
Oh, I found a Jenga piece that did the job.
Don't you Napier people just do that shit with your teeth?
No, not me. Fragile teeth now, they're old.
Too much coffee.
That's it.
Oh, everyone's muted.
Oh well, we might have to do the break the tradition and just line them up for next time.
Oh yeah, well, I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. Like, it was a good watch last week with Ben, and I look forward to seeing other people's perspectives.
What do we do now, Josh?
Yeah.
On rollerblading.
I think we probably call it a day. Been real good talking to you, bro.
Yeah.
This meeting is being recorded.
At the tone, record your message.
Hey, Jago, it's just Liam, Joss, and Kevin here, calling you for the Cave Crew podcast, trying to see if you want to come on and be our next guest. So I'm leaving you a voicemail because you're stinking to answer your phone. Anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, if you want to do it, this is your chance. So leave a comment on Kevin's on episode 3. Or else we're going to choose someone else, and you're going to have to wait until the end. We'll put you at the back of the queue.
Yep, you'll be the last.
Do it, Jago.
If you don't go third.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Right, see ya. Done.
Ciao.
So,
All right, so-
is there anyone that you want to say thanks to, or do you want to say anything, Kevin? Because it's dinner time.
I think I've mentioned. Oh, just thanks to everyone who used to rollerblade back in the day, the whole crew, like all the boys. You know who you are. Everyone's like Napier crew, Hamilton crew. Pat McIver, yeah, thanks to him for making the rink, like that was awesome, like and thanks for like all the Hamilton crew for eventually taking me under the wing and letting me like become a part, because there was points where I felt like I was a part of the crew when I was in Hamilton, and we did some roadies and stuff.
We're definitely part of the crew.
Yeah, so just I don't know, thanks to everyone. Thanks Aaron Taylor, thanks to him when he like hooked me up and crushed my soul when he took my skates off me. Just joking, Aaron. I love you. Please don't like take it to heart. And
He'll have some excuse. He'll have a reason.
Thanks to Hamish McRae for taking me, Johnny, and Cameron and Rory won nationals when Grant kicked us out of his house because he didn't want us to stay there. He took us in, and then we raided his wardrobe, and he had a box full of clothing from Porn because he was sponsored, and we all pinched a t-shirt each because that was Napier. And I got the one that said choose the ball and choose the sword. I think Rory got another one, and I was like, thanks, Hamish. Like, sorry that we were like young and dumb, and Johnny Cormack made us rip you off for letting us stay there, but it was good. We didn't have to stay on the streets. I don't know what year it was, but he took us in. We were staying at Grant's, and then we were a bit too rowdy and ruckus, and then Grant was like, nah, you can't stay the next night, and then we had nowhere to stay, and Hamish took us in, and then we turned around. I don't think he even noticed because he had a huge box full of Porn clothing, and we pinched one shirt each, and I remember that from this day, so sorry and thanks.
It would have been way more Napier to steal the whole box.
Yeah, but then he would have noticed. I don't know if he even noticed, but that's just something I remember. And I wore the shit out of that shirt because Porn was awesome.
Good times.
Nice.
But yeah, that's about it. Thanks to you guys for doing it, like sparking up a bit of conversation and getting the history out there. I'll keep watching. I enjoyed Ben's episode, and I'll watch this one, and I'll have a few cringe moments, I'm sure, but it's cool. It's awesome. Like, get it out there and get the history out there and get the people engaged, because there's a whole lot of new people starting up as well, and they don't know anything about it. So it's good for them to get a little bit of understanding.
Is it okay if we maybe call you when we're interviewing Aaron Taylor?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're gonna like put me on the spot with him, about how he like.
I want to put him on the spot about it, really.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
and
It's the date.
and piano, him and his piano finger antics.
Yeah.
I forgot about that story.
Oh, were you going to say that, were you?
I wasn't going to say the story. No, I'll leave that for Aaron.
Oh, he's done it for everyone, eh? Like, I wasn't the only sucker for it. Like, I'm sure I've seen him make other people cry from it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
So anyway.
It was really good talking to you, man.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks heaps, eh?
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Wu-Tang forever.
Nice. All right.
Yeah,
Nice. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Ciao. You
Yeah,
too.
Cheers, Kev.
Haters.
See you.
See you guys.
See ya. See you next time.
Parents are very strict. Where you going with those skates? Wear your helmet. Are you doing that too? Are you jumping on those banisters?